Hey there, this is Jaden and I'll be doing a free SEO analysis for this website, carrot.com. And basically, is to help you, give you some sort of value and see, where else within the organic space there is, if there's any opportunities or if there's any issues that is limiting organic traffic. So I hope to provide all these in this video. So I'll be splitting up the video into three different parts. The first part will be to find out mainly for two things. Firstly is to see if there's any big limiting issues with the website in terms of organic traffic, and or if there is any low-hanging fruits, so things that that are easy to solve and can get a immediate ROI in terms of organic traffic. So that is the first section. The second section will be to do a really quick audit, just to see from a technical level, if there's anything that can be fixed. So that is for the second part. And last but not least, it's my recommendation on what you should be doing based off on the things that I find within this video. So I'll be doing this video live, so everything will be live as you see here, because I think it's a lot more real and a lot more relative. And yeah, so please feel free to speed up the video if you like to, and let's get started. So the first thing over here, what we want to find, we want to be looking at just I've taken a quick look at the site. So first of all, the site looks really good, and it seems like it's a real estate investor site. And so kind of like it within the real estate market, so which is fine, and the design looks decent. So one thing within this phase is I'm always trying to find more information about the site, and the reason why is because the more information I have, the more things I can provide in terms of recommendation, because it's kind of like my own internal computer system where I'm trying to download a lot of data, and with all those data, the more equipped I am, the more accurate the recommendations I can give. So I don't want to sound like I'm a robot, but it kind of works that way. So you can see the website. So in terms of organic traffic, it has been kind of like doing a yo-yo where it's going down, going up, going down, and now it's trending upwards again. So this is kind of an interesting pattern. Let me just take a look at the backlink profile. So link wise, this website has been getting links, which is decent. And yeah, so organic traffic really started to show like last 2 years or so, and majority of them are in the US. And SEO for real estate investors. So this is interesting. So why is there also beginner? So choosing a domain name, pick the keywords. And again, over here, I'm just trying to find out if there's any quick wins. Okay, so this is interesting. So is this website offering SEO? Inbound marketing platform. Okay, so let me just take a look. Okay. So this is a kind of like a CMS, if you will, kind of like a subscription-based CMS. So this is very interesting. Now, so this means to say, this is kind of like a investors and agents lead generation hub. Okay, so I kind of understand a little bit more about the business model. So this is interesting. Now, I'm just going to take a look to see, in terms of this website's portfolio, is there any low-hanging fruits? So real estate bio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter out, let's say from position 11 onwards, just to take a look at some of these. So this is one, real estate marketing ideas. So let me open this up. And I just want to see if this specific URL is ranking for other keywords, because if it is and is doing well, then there's not much point for us to be going after this keyword. So in this case, so this realtor add ideas. So here's kind of the thoughts I have with regards to, you know, if we should be pivoting keywords. Because in this case, you can see this keyword, this page is ranking for certain keywords. So ignore this to position because this is the image is ranking in the search result, so it's not really that important because we want to go after keywords that you know, the actual URL is actually ranking for, not the page. And there is a position 1 to 10, so page 1 rankings, this URL already has it. So in terms of, you know, getting traffic, this page is already getting somewhat of a traffic, but for all these kind of terms, so advertising ideas for realtors, marketing ideas for new realtors and stuff like that, right? But it's not like in the first 5 position. And then if we were to look at the volume, right? So you can see this page, it's highly relevant for this keyword, which has a lot more search volume, and it's just barely making into page 1. So a lot of times when we make a certain decision on whether should we execute on something, it's always standing from a point of view of, do we end up losing more or do we, you know, end up gaining more? So it's always the case of, you know, which one should we choose? So in this case, you can see this specific URL just on a URL level, right? So on this specific URL, it's already getting somewhat of a traffic. You know, earlier on, like we mentioned, like we saw the keywords, there are a little bit of keywords that is already doing well, not in the top 5 position, but they're still on page 1, which will be getting traffic, right? But so that is the kind of traffic that this page already has. Now, if we were to do some kind of optimization, which means to say we might be risking the current traffic we already have for this specific URL, right? And then now at this point, we have to think about, so if we were to go ahead and implement this change, what is the risk? So the risk will be ideally losing out all those traffic that this page already has, which is, you know, from all those keywords. But what will we stand to gain? So if you see over here, real estate marketing ideas, just this keyword alone, it has 1,400 words. So you can see the previous URLs, they are doing well for I would say long tail keywords. So it's like 40, 20, 10 and stuff like that, right? And then a bunch of these. Okay, just this one is decent. This one has 80, right? And with a CPC of $18. So all these are high in CPC, which is decent, right? But in the case of when we look at this specific keyword, you can see it's 1,004. So that alone already makes up for all the potential traffic that this URL as compared to this specific keyword as compared to the earlier keywords that we see. And then ideally what would happen? So if we were to implement this, the opportunity will be to go after a keyword that has higher search volume and has a decent CPC as well, and it's also very, very relevant because you can see it's in position 11. It's not in position 80, you know, it's not in position 28, so it's not very far apart. It's barely making it to page 1, right? And we make it to page 1, the traffic that we have from this search term alone is going to be a lot. So this is the things that we stand to gain. Now, secondly, would we be at risk of losing those keywords earlier? Chances are there's always a certain chance if you are doing some sort of implementations like changing page titles and stuff like that. But if we think about it this way, if we go after this specific keyword which has 1,400 search volume, we could also be, you know, keeping the current keywords that we already have if we can structure the page title in a way that we include, okay, if we include these keywords, secondary keywords within our page title. If we change it, right, we want to try as much as you can include these specific keywords within our page titles or any implementations, just so we can kind of keep this this keyword, okay, for its relevancy. So essentially it's kind of like a safe, how would I say, kind of like a backup, right? So that when we go after a new keyword, we are still making our page titles or whatever that we implement relevant for the current keywords that we are already ranking for. So that is kind of like my take. So this section here, as you can see, this is already a quick tip that I have. So next up, the next section will be to do a quick audit. Now, with regards to audit, the first thing I usually like to do is I like to give you something relevant from what we have found within the first section. So in the first section, we found that this is a low-hanging fruit, right? So to make this more relevant and to make sure that it makes sense for you, we're gonna go and dive a little bit deeper into this specific opportunity that we have found. So if we go and take a look at this page, okay, so now what are the things that you can be doing? So let me just do a quick audit for your on page. Okay, so let me just take a look. So this URL, it's fine. Let me see. Real estate marketing ideas, online marketing ideas for real estate agents. This is okay. This is okay. And then the H2s, okay, this is fine. So let me see if I can change, if I would to be able to change or recommend URL changes here. So first up, online marketing ideas for real estate agents. Real estate marketing ideas. Real estate marketing ideas, and then we have advertising ideas for realtors. Okay, so this section here doesn't have realtors. This doesn't have realtors, but Google is identifying this page for realtors. So they kind of understand like real estate agents, it's realtors, right? So that's kind of like how you're figuring out how Google kind of understand this page and make sense of why it's showing up for this specific keyword, even though the page titles and URLs doesn't specify that. So that's something really interesting to see. So one thing that I've already noticed, right, you can see the H1 and the title, it's the same. To generate more leads, to generate leads online. Yeah. So one thing that I will take a look at later on, it's the page title. But from a top-down point of view, I'm gonna take a look at. I'm still taking a look at this URL, because ideally we want to move from top down and to see if there's anything best way to market. So so if I were to leave this URL, right, online marketing ideas. So the main keyword, okay, let me just open up my notepad here. So these are the few keywords. Real estate marketing. So I'm just gonna take down some common ones that's been showing up again and again. Okay, I'm gonna do it on the side of the screen so it doesn't block up. So advertising ideas for realtors, marketing ideas for realtors. So it's kind of the same thing, only change of words. Free real estate marketing ideas. This is the free. I don't think needs to be in there because over here doesn't have free. All right, so we're not going to include that here. Best way to market real estate agent. Okay. Yeah, it's the same. So, and it only has a search volume of 10, so I'm not going to worry about that. Realtor advertising ideas. So this is just a shorter form for this keyword, right? And then if I go down, real estate marketing campaigns, this could make sense just cause it has another different variation of keyword, which is campaigns. Real estate digital marketing ideas. Okay, so this has digital within there. And then let me go down. Best doesn't matter. Marketing ideas for real estate agents doesn't really matter. Real estate marketing campaign, we already have that. Marketing ideas, yeah. So you can see, and then we want to go for this one, okay, which is the kind of the main keyword if you were to pivot to. Okay, so you can see, and now I want to just basically list down the URL. Okay, so now the URL says online marketing ideas, right? So we have ideas, we have marketing, right? And there's not really an online, right? So ideas, real estate agents, right? So real estate agents is fine. real estate marketing ideas. So in this case now, so this is somewhat of a, you have to put more thoughts into it, because with regards to URL, when you change a URL, usually you have to do cleanup after you change a URL. So meaning to say, with URL changing, after you change your URL, the things you need to do is you need to redirect your old URL, which is this URL, okay, and you want to change it to a new, you want to redirect it, you want to do a 301 redirect to the new URL. So you want to do that first. And then secondly, from a technical standpoint, right, you want to think about, first of all, how big is your site? Because if your site is really big, then I wouldn't consider this step unless you really want to make sure that your SEO is at a tip-top condition. Okay, and that is, you want to go into your website and look at all the pages that is linking to this old URL, and you want to change it. So you want to change it, instead of just having people redirect, you want them to be able to go to the new URL directly. So by doing so, it's going to be a lot more clearer, and it also doesn't let Google work that much, you know, because as compared to just taking one step, they're taking two steps. Sorry, it should be the other way around. So instead of Google having to take two steps, because they come to a page, they go to the old page, they get redirected to the new page, right? So there is basically, well, if you think of it this way, it's three steps, right? So they come to a page, go to the old URL, okay, and then gets redirected to the new URL, right? But if they go to a page and then they straight away immediately go to the new URL, so there's no redirection there. So it's kind of, from a technical standpoint, it's a lot more cleaner, I guess. But that depends on, you know, whether do you want to do it like, whether do you want to prioritize doing it. Obviously, the answer is always yes. It's always worth it to do something, because it's, when it comes to optimization, it's always about what can you do more, right? So if you have the time, you have the resources, by all means go ahead and do that. But if you don't, then you minimally want to have the old URL being redirected to the new URL. Okay. Now, with that being said, that is some of the things that you need to think about when it comes to URL, changing URL, and also, which it's very unlikely to happen, but sometimes you might already have a URL that is occupying the URL that you want to change it to, right? So for example, you know, if I want to change it to, say, online marketing ideas, right, for example, but because of, depending on how big your website is, you might already have a URL that is like that, right? So then you want to, you know, make sure that you are either doing either canonicalizing, or you are, you know, either selecting another keyword, for example. But there's a few things that you need to think about when it comes to, you know, changing URL. Okay, and one more thing, just to make sure that this specific site is already not ranking for this keyword. Okay, I'm gonna go and open this up and see. So online marketing ideas for dominating your. Okay, so let me open this up. So this is a 404. Right, so in this case, what I will do, it seems like this is an old URL. Ideas for dominating your real estate market, right? So I think this is the new URL and this is the old URL. Okay, so I mean, a quick fix for this is, I will look at if there's any pages within internally that is linking to this old page. Because if there is, then I want to redirect it to the new URL, which is this URL. Okay, if there isn't, then you don't have to really spend time to go and redirect this page, just cause, you know, it's not you know, helping in any other way if you just redirect this page, right? So again, it's a lot about doing something and thinking about, you know, what are you gaining and what are you losing. So in this case, it's about taking into consideration the resources that you have, and is it worth executing on those resources, right? Spending those resources to execute certain stuff. So now, with that being said, this means that there isn't any other pages that's ranking for this keyword. So which is a good situation, because then we don't have to think about what other steps that we need to take into consideration. So now, when we look at this URL, right? Okay, first of all, okay, I'm just gonna, so this is the URL. Okay, so first of all, what I will do, right, this is the main keyword that we are going to go after. So real estate marketing ideas needs to stay here, but you can see online, there isn't much, there isn't online here. Okay, there isn't online within the keywords that we are going after. And do bear this in mind, because I'm only doing this like based off on a, I'm working within a time frame, because I don't want the video to be too long. But what you can do is you can make sure that online isn't a big issue or a big keyword that you're missing out on. So you can always go in, you know, and go back to this specific URL. You can include in here online and then see if there's any keywords that's coming up. So real estate online marketing. So there seems to be, you know, real estate online marketing, it seems to be 90 of this, and then 90 search volume. So right now it's still okay, not very relevant. But again, you want to make sure that of all the things you are picking, you want to pick as much as you can that how would I put this in a way? It's kind of like shortlisting players on a football team, for example. So say for example, if you are in a, you know, if you're playing soccer, right, and there's only 11 players on the team and you have 20 people that you want to choose the best 11 for every individual position. So this is kind of similar, because you can see a lot of keywords are here. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to make sure you want to select the cream of the crop, right? So in this case, so online, based off on my current just looking at this bunch of keywords here, I wouldn't worry that much about online if I were to change it. So what I would do is let me see if I can work out something and give you an idea of what my thought process is. So real estate marketing ideas needs to be there. Okay, so real estate marketing ideas. I think I will do something like this. Okay, so I will do real estate marketing ideas. For realtors. Okay, I would change slightly a little bit. Now, the reason why is because you can see real estate marketing ideas. Okay, so it's more relevant because it's more towards the front. And then for realtors, because you have realtors here, so it's a lot more focused, right? So ideally, what I would even do, right, it's I will remove this section over here, okay, to remove the block, just so it's a lot more cleaner. But this, because removing a subcategory, it's a lot of hassle, especially if the site has already been established, there's a lot of pages. So then you don't have to do that. So the first thing that I could consider is either this, okay, and if things doesn't change, what I would do is I might even try this. Okay, but the first thing that I'll do is I will try this first. Okay, because this matches real estate marketing ideas. So everything, advertising ideas, you can see there is no advertising here, but Google is still pinging it relevant for this keyword. And then you have marketing ideas. So the main keywords are within here, right? Marketing ideas, real estate, and realtors. Okay, so so that is the kind of first implementation that I would try. Okay, so that's first. Now, secondly, right, if you go in and take a look at your page titles, earlier on, like I mentioned, I want to talk a little bit about page title. So with page title, it's kind of the same concept. You can see your page titles and header one right now, it's almost the same, which means to say there's a little bit of opportunity for you to go after here. So what you can do is, instead of this, I mean, this is fine anyway, real estate marketing ideas, to generate more leads online. So what I would do is I would think about rearranging this. So real estate marketing ideas, to generate more leads. Real estate marketing ideas to generate more leads online, and then I could put something like a you want to insert some kind of eye-breaking patterns. And one way for you to really find out, right, to see if you can stand to win in Google is just to see So you can, so this is a feature snippet. So the first thing I'll look at is actually feature snippet. And then here you can see, so all these are numbers, which is fine. So a lot of them are numbers. All right, 200 marketing, blah, 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 14 effective marketing ideas, 51, real estate marketing at 25. So all these are number based. All right, so number based isn't a bad shout here. Okay, number based isn't a bad shout here. But 30 real estate marketing ideas to generate more leads online. I would change something here. So there's a few things that I have in mind. So you can either remove this. Okay, I will remove this, for example, and change it to say 2021 or trending, for example. Because when you think about when people are searching for real estate marketing ideas, right? If you look at these marketing ideas, you can see like all of them there is somewhat of a copy inserted within here, right? So you can see outside of the box, easy and effective, bulletproof, right? Clever. There is somewhat of an adjective to describe what marketing idea it is, because just having 30 marketing ideas is not good enough to gather the attention when it comes to SERPs. And also, just by looking at this is a really, really competitive niche, because you can see all of their page titles are top tier, right? All of them are not truncated. All of them have really smart copy. You can see bulletproof, real estate ideas, effective, right? So you can see this is 200 real estate marketing ideas, and as compared to the rest, easy and effective, outside the box. That's one of the reasons why these are standing out, right? So what I would do is I would think about something that that might stand out. So for example, like this, right? Trending in 2021, for example. Okay, but obviously this page title should be lesser than 60 characters because you don't want it to be truncated. Okay, and then another version, I would try something like this. Okay, real estate marketing ideas to generate more leads. Okay, I wouldn't maybe put online. Real estate marketing ideas to generate more leads. Or maybe I will put something like that. 30 trending methods in 2021, for example, right? And these are some of the copy that you can maybe mess around with. You can either do it like that. You can, if this is too long, you will do it like that. But again, I'm just giving you some kind of example that you can think about, or it can be somewhat like that, for example. But I don't think this is a very good example, right? But because with all these copy, you sometimes need to spend a bit of time to really think about what the page title, specifically for page titles, because especially if you're in a very competitive niche, the more time you need to spend into thinking about how you want to structure your page title, because the page title is one of the main things that people look at first before they click, and especially for a word term, for a term like that. There is competitive. You can see all the competitors, which are HubSpot, WordStream, right? You want to have something that is well optimized and more, right? So this kind of like the main idea that you could go with. So I think we have almost reached the end of the video. So I'm going to give you right now my recommendation of what I suggest you do. So first of all, I would take a look at those pages that are not ranking well not ranking in the first page of Google, and just look at all those pages that is just barely making the mark, right? So those pages floating on page 2, that's where I'll look at, right? So one page, for example, is this page. Okay, and then what I would do is, first of all, take a look and see if you can change somewhat of your URL. If it's too much of a hassle to change, there's too many things for you to change, then you want to consider not changing them, and then just fix and just work on your page title. And that is kind of my suggestion for this specific example that I found. So with that being said, that's all for the video. Thank you so much for watching this. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And if not, I hope this video will be able to help you out. In terms of getting more organic traffic and more organic growth for your website. So that's all. Thank you so much for watching this. Stay safe and take care.